Board. Tonight we have a pretty busy agenda. As you see above me, we're going to go through some committee housekeeping items. Then we're going to move into some of our, we've got one item we're definitely voting on tonight, which is the Citibike discount question. And then we've got our discussion of the Atlantic Avenue mixed-use project. And then we've got some open streets and dining out related issues. And then we'll open it up for new business and old business. Give me a moment. I think I see what I'm doing wrong here. Give me a second. Let me just call the roll in while I have the here. All right. As I call your name, if you're a member of the committee, we've got a lot of new members this year. This is only our third meeting, so if you could sort of stand up and make yourself known a little bit as we go along, I appreciate that. Peter Inekwe.
Present.
Thank you, Mr. Inekwe. Uma Bondaram. Thank you, Uma. Edward Delman, excused. Alan Gerber. Phyllis Granum. Ms. Granum, thank you. Karen Gray.
Present.
I heard you. There you are, in the back. Ms. Gray, thank you. Saskia Hagans.
Present.
Over there, thank you. Dolores Hutchinson.
Present.
Thank you very much. Malik Jabati. Oops. Jennifer Jordan. Surzima Jordan. It's a rare meeting. We don't have Peter Crashes.
Here.
Thank you. Francis Langley.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bobby Lapointe, excused. Sarah Lazar. Dr. Sarah Lazar. Not here. Lisa Maldonado.
Here.
Thank you very much. William Meehan. Not here. Alex Morano. Thank you very much. Fiora Ortiz Joyner.
Present.
Thank you very much. Annika Roach. Connor Ross. Thank you. Ezra Roth. Walking in the door. Thank you. Good timing. Celeste Stern.
Here.
Thank you very much. Audrey Tate Hall. I saw Ms.
Here.
Thank you. Mark Thurton.
Here.
Thank you. Brianna Uwa. Cheryl Walcott. Thank you. Scott Weinstein. Thank you very
Hi.
much. Robert Witherwax.
Following instructions.
This guy, I should follow my instructions too. Robert Witherwax. William Meehan. Hi. Walking in. Thank you. And Deborah Young.
Here.
All right. Thank you once again. A fantastic turnout. Just a few absences that are unexcused. Yes, Ms. Young. Oh, Tracy Nottingham.
Yes.
Our newest member. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Tracy.
Welcome aboard. We are now full. There's no more room at the inn.
I want to make a reminder before you move on that those of you who have not signed in, please make sure you sign in even if you're a committee member before you leave. Thank you.
All guests.
Yeah, committee members over here. Mr. Roth, you too. This is a new policy. All right. So let's see. Back to see the slideshow. I don't know.
Can you do, if you do display settings,
Yeah, it won't let me do display settings. It's not letting me end them. See? Well, whatever. There's no surprises in here. Okay, housekeeping. Media. Please be advised that members of the media may be in attendance. There may be reporters. There may be filming. If you do not consent to have your picture taken, you can opt out of all of that, but we are an open meeting. Everyone is always free to come in and attend and observe and use 21st century technology to broadcast it. However, we can't use 21st century technology to have the meeting, unfortunately. So we'll get there someday. Membership. Just going to run through this list and then we're going to go on. So membership, we're going to talk about attendance, which Ms. Young alluded to. We're going to do minutes. We're going to talk about December. And then we've got a few updates on existing and upcoming projects. This is, with one exception, Ms. Nottingham is not on this list. This is the list of the membership. And I want to say that 3 people excused themselves and 3 people didn't show up, but otherwise we've got fantastic turnout, even notwithstanding this night before Thanksgiving. So, big committee. Here are the rules for membership, right? Members who are on the committee stay on the committee, receive committee communications, and have the right to speak at meetings, etc., until they resign or are otherwise removed from the committee, usually due to poor attendance. The right to vote at a given meeting is linked to your attendance. If you maintain a record of consistent attendance, you will be in good standing at a given meeting and can vote. If you have poor attendance, defined as missing 4 of the prior 6 meetings, you will be ineligible to vote. So if you show up 2 out of 3 times, you'll always be in good stead. But we don't demand perfect attendance, but if you slide and slide and slide and then show up in June, sorry, you're not going to get to vote. These are the rules of Community Board 8. These are not the rules of this committee. These are the rules of the entire board. To that point, committee membership is fluid. New members can join the committee mid-year. We just had one this evening, after notifying the chair of their desire to join and attending 3 consecutive meetings if there is room, which is the point of these sign-in sheets, right? To demonstrate your attendance at 3 consecutive meetings. We've had some issues in the past where people have said, I've attended 3 consecutive meetings, but either this part of the room didn't notice, I didn't notice, or a signature didn't get put down on a sign-in sheet. We've had some confusions about it, so this is to eliminate the opportunity for those confusions. Membership in the committee must be at least 50% appointed committees, CB members, so that's why I say we're full, right? So this slide is out of date. We currently have 16 appointed members, and as of today, Ms. Nottingham's attendance, we have 15 community members. So since we have to have at least 50%, that means we can't have 16 and 16. We have to have 16 and 15 or fewer. If we get a new community board appointed member who wants to join this committee, then yeah, 1 for 1. It's like the Missouri Compromise. We can let in, a new member for every community board member. All right, fair enough? So to that point, right, committee members' attendance is noted by the secretary of the chair when the roll is called, but errors and omissions can occur. We are now going to ask you all to sign in as definitive proof of attendance. So again, if you're here and you didn't sign in, sign in. Proof, yeah. We'll forget that you're here immediately if you disappear. And again, all other attendees, please sign in. And the burden is going to be on you guys, whether a committee member or not, to make sure your presence has been recorded. And back to something I said at the start, which is that, as long as I know, I'll get the question in a second, sir. As long as I know you want to join the committee, we'll keep tracking that. But if we don't know you want to join the committee, it's hard for us to know that that's your goal of attending. Yes, sir, hand in the back.
When was the limiting factor put in place by the board?
Mr. Atkins, thank you for coming. Welcome. When was the limiting factor put in by the board? We changed our minutes. I don't know, Deborah, how many years ago did we change the bylaws?
It wasn't more than a year and a half ago, was it?
We changed them once during the pandemic. I don't remember what that particular change was.
I'd like to know when that was put in place. It's just,
Yeah, we'll get back to it. I don't remember. There have been a few iterations of this, and I don't remember when that one popped in. It is bylaws, it's not policy, it's part of our rules and regs.
that's a community board statute.
That is Community Board 8's bylaws, yes. Different boards may have different rules. That's one of those sort of flexible areas where different boards can differ on membership of a committee, and that's the rules that we had settled on for membership of a committee. So, housekeeping stuff, right? Apologies. Other housekeeping stuff. Minutes. The minutes for the September 2024 and the October 2024 meetings were circulated in today's email. Can I get a motion concerning either or both or none of those? Mr. Meehan?
I move to accept the minutes.
Any second?
I second, but I have a quick question. I don't remember if it's September or October minutes, but I know that there was, the executive board was supposed to meet to discuss, sanitation containerization. I was wondering if they met.
The executive committee did meet. I'm not sure we discussed containerization. I think we discussed the loading zones.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was going to be discussed to try to have elected officials, possibly, have a distribution to some members or less.
If that was discussed, and that's, I don't know that we have a plan to, I'm gonna get to containerization in a few slides, so we'll come back to that. Motion to accept the minutes, motion to second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are accepted with any necessary corrections in the minutes. Thank you, everyone.
To your question about the containerization, and if I'm remembering correctly, because we have some people in our community that might be facing hardships, we did discuss it at the community board meeting, and if I'm remembering correctly, it was suggested that we advise people to reach out to their local elected official.
So on that point, well, we'll get to that point in a second, but today is, as we've alluded already, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. We don't like having meetings the weeks of major holidays. Well, next month is even worse. This should say Tuesday, I typed Thursday. The fourth Tuesday of December is Christmas Eve. I don't want to ruin Christmas for my now 21 and 18-year-old children, right? They still think Santa Claus comes down the chimney, so I need to be home putting out the cookies. I apologize. So if we want a December meeting, we need to find another date. So that's two questions. Do we want a December meeting?
No.
All I'm hearing
No.
is no's.
What do we have? Do you have any voting matters coming up?
If we dispose of what we need to dispose of tonight, we have nothing urgent in the hopper for voting matters. If we get rid of our CITIBike, our AIM-UP, and then all the other sort of business that may come up, we don't have anything right now that's saying we need to dispose of it by the start of the meeting. But we could find an evening, sorry, I'm trying to mute my phone, like the week before, like the third Tuesday or the third Thursday or something. And we could hold it open for now. And then as December develops, after say the full board meeting, which is on December 12th, we could determine whether we need that meeting.
That makes sense.
Okay. So what do we prefer? And I know I've seeded the whole, I've given away the game here, and so put out two options. December 17th or December 19th. Are there preferences between those dates?
17th.
17th is a Tuesday. 19th is a Thursday. I'm hearing 17th. 17th. All right. Can I get a motion to reserve the 17th?
I make a motion to reserve the 17th.
I'll second it.
Langley and Mr. Roth, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, December 17th is reserved, should we need a meeting, and we will know by the 12th, which is the full board. If you don't hear from the board office by then, have a free evening on community board 8th. All right, we've already alluded a little bit to sanitation. I want to run over these because they are new, and everyone in this room hopefully can quote this chapter and verse, but this is part of what we do. We educate the community. The new rules for containerization and for putting your garbage out. If you live in a residential property with 1 to 9 units, as of November 12th, all properties with 1 to 9 residential units are required to use a bin that is 55 gallons or less with a secure lid for trash. Recycling is different. They are selling the recycling bins, but this is specifically about trash. If you already use a bin with a secure lid that is 55 gallons or less for your trash, you may continue to use it for another year and a half. After that, you will need to buy the official NYC bin. Can somebody spell boondoggle for me? It just seems a little weird. If you live in a residential property with 10 or more units, NYC is also advancing a plan to containerize trash in larger residential properties. Properties with 31 or more units will be required to use on-street containers. If you want to see this in action, go to Hamilton Heights. Go to 140, the high 140s, low 150s, and look at how it works. Serviced by DSNY's new automated side-loading garbage trucks. So when you look at the density of our districts, we're not talking about brownstone blocks here. We might be talking about blocks like the one we're on, actually. Ms. Joyner?
Yes, as you're saying, the block that we're on, I would assume that when that comes to fruition, that those seniors will be in front of the building. As you can see across the street, they are also on Morgan Street. That's the back. The address is on St. Mark's. I would assume that continuation would happen on St. Mark's and Convert.
The devil will be in the details, yeah. When that time comes, will be, yeah, that's smart.
What kind of, sorry,
Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
what kind of a, what kind of a process will take place to determine locations? Is that just going to be something that they pop out, or?
As yet undetermined. Again, they're doing a pilot program in Hamilton Heights right now, where every building essentially has its own, I'm not gonna say that. I understand that there are bins every several buildings. And so buildings of mid-size will share a bin. But as you go down the block, right, it may happen 2 or 3 times that there's a segment of street space that has been taken over for these large bins in the span of a given block. All the factors of density and that will come into play. I haven't seen any official talk about process.
What
I
date
imagine
did you
it's a big
say?
formula. Yes, Ms.
What
Lang?
date did you say?
What date?
November the 12th?
As of this past November 12th, yep. As of Tuesday, a week, 2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks ago. That middle zone, properties with 10 to 30 units, probably depends. It says they will be able to choose. I'm getting this straight from sanitation. We had one of our regular members, they sent somebody to the full board meeting in November. So we got somebody, she was great. She answered a lot of questions in front of the audience. She answered a lot of questions off to the side to members who were there. You know, she went to a meeting that had 100 people in it, so that's a better use of her time, right? But I wish we could. All right, and they add up quickly. Sanitation would be eager to deal with this. Any questions? Couple other.
Rob, we got one question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did see Mr. Atkins. Yes, sir.
There were people who received cans that were offered by New York City. They said cannons, they were great, they were 35 gallons. They do not have a latching lid, but they do have a bar in the back, a metal bar. And it seems to me that, I'm trying to think, no, they don't have a metal bar, but they were sanctioned by the city. They were given by the city. Have the city negated the previously donated or sold cans in lieu of the new process?
How long ago were they given, or how long ago?
4 years ago.
How many?
Anywhere in the past 5 to 2 years ago.
Yeah, I would only imagine yes, but I don't know that for a fact. It's a great question.
They were given out particularly at Rat Academy meetings. Because people, that was the city's first attempt to fight the scourge of vermin, because they had changed the trash policies in the 80s and then in the 90s. I find this to be ridiculous, in that this is a problem that the city created. At the turn of the century, the city decided that trash should be placed in steel cans with a steel lid. Then in the 80s, they removed that because they said it was causing too many workers' comp problems. And then in the 90s, they changed the process of coming and removing the trash from your domicile and placing it back within your domicile, because your gated area, because they wanted to have productivity gains. So all this is basically because the city refused to follow its own health guidelines, and then was in a fiscal crunch and wanted to make the average property owners pay. Has anybody taken a court case against the city about this?
Good questions. I don't know.
I think I'm bringing it to the proper venue.
Mrs. Tate Hall.
I heard that some people are going to be doing some kind of legal action, but I haven't seen anything as yet. So.
Okay. And to reiterate Ms. Young's point, the board has asked several times, privately and publicly, of our elected officials, especially our city and state elected officials, to consider some program for subsidy. for the purchase of these bins for homeowners who cannot afford them. Lisa?
I don't remember exactly hearing it that way, but I could be wrong.
A little louder.
I'm sorry, I don't remember hearing it the way that you just reported. What I thought they said was that we needed to tell anyone who was asking about the garbage cans if they have some financial hardships, that they should reach out to the elected
That
officials.
should, yeah, both.
Rob,
Yeah.
did they say anything about the enforcement of the recycling containers? They gave a date for that?
No. No, recycling is still, they're happy with the way recycling is going right now, because rats don't tend to eat tin cans, I guess.
I know, but they forced us to purchase those containers and we don't have to use it.
So believe it or not, they're saying that they're not forcing us to purchase the recycling containers. It's only the garbage containers right now. Even though, if you go on the website and you click around, you can get all three of them. Recycling can still go out in a bag. Recycling can still be bagged in a plastic bag, paper and plastic / glass metal, right? That's fine. This is only specifically about your trash, your household waste, your whatever. It goes in the garbage bin. And of course, composting, right? Of course, the city is now doing curbside composting everywhere. We have my favorite new gadget, which is the street corner compost containers. So the city is multiplying the vectors for putting compost into the system, right? So, Mr. Inekwe.
You repeat that, what you just said again? You said the cans and all those can still go out on a curb?
Recycling can still go out in a bag.
In a bag?
Yep. Your paper recycling, your plastic recycling, it can still go out in a clear plastic bag. Mr.
Is a secure lid in a latch?
Yes. When you see somebody with the new one, right? It's got this little rubber.
Latch.
Yeah. Basically, it's very flexible. There's no like locking mechanism. It's just a molded rubber thing that loops around the lid of the can, and you just pull it to. But I know we haven't had much rain this summer, but this fall. But our immediate observation upon getting it is that the lid collects water, and you lift the lid, and the water drains into the bucket. So there's like a design problem for these particular cans. Anyway, any other questions on recycling, garbage, sanitation? Is anybody filming live or recording this meeting? Ms. Balsamo, thank you for disclosing that. Anybody else? And is it live or is it just for recording?
It's live.
Oh, really? Who are we going to?
Instagram.
Oh, wow. I don't have Instagram, so
I can save the video and send it to you.
I don't want to see myself.
You look good. You look good.
Well, you feel free to pan around the room and
Well, I'm respecting people's privacy. I'm just.
Oh, what about
Well, you're
mine?
the chair. I figured.
Well, I guess I put myself out there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd like to know going forward so that I could come appropriately attired.
You look great.
You do.
Thank you.
You do. Nobody said that about me.
You look great.
I
too.
did. I said you looked great.
Thank you.
I'll bring the jacket back.
Now that I know, I should have prepared my tap dance routine. All right, we're going to move back to the agenda. I'm going to go back to the screen here. Look at our only definitive. Come on, what are we doing? All right, Citibike. So I want to thank the members of the subcommittee that met at least twice to talk about the draft resolution. Those who were here in September remember that we had a presentation by a staff from Transportation Alternatives and two, I'm going to get it wrong, one was a college student, one was a high school student, I believe, who wanted to talk about a proposal that had been circulated for community boards to support a resolution to give discounted Citibike memberships to students in the Department of Ed or CUNY schools who were 16 and older, right? That was the resolution, and they sent us a resolution, a draft resolution that we reviewed. The committee kind of took it, squished it down, got rid of some excess language, and really kind of wordsmithed it. So I'm going to read through what we have at the moment. Draft Community Board Resolution language, affordable student city bike memberships. In recognition of the fact that while Citibike has become an invaluable resource and additional mode of public transportation for New York City residents, solving the last mile challenge to destinations not easily accessible by public transit in a sustainable manner, the recent price hikes for Citibike memberships pose a significant barrier to accessibility for many New York City students who may have long and inconvenient school commutes and who might otherwise avail themselves of this resource. Brooklyn Community Board 8 supports offering a $5 per month membership to CUNY students aged 18 and above in order to provide them with affordable access to Citibike. Community Board 8 urges Mayor Adams, NYC Departments of Education and Transportation, and CUNY institutions to allocate necessary resources and support the implementation of this program, recognizing its potential to improve student transportation options, reduce chronic absenteeism, promote physical activity, and enhance academic performance among New York City students. Is that the working group members? Is that the resolution where we left it in October? Thank you. Any questions on this? Mr. Inequa?
I don't remember the $5, giving them $5. Wasn't it to give, because giving anybody money on the part of the city meetings is always a big problem, right? Because that's revenue that you have to allocate to these people. Wasn't it giving them a discount as opposed to giving them money?
I don't think it's giving them money.
It's not giving them money, it's saying, offering them the option of a $5 membership, which is the discount.
Yeah. This was the
Not giving
original
them.
resolution. Can you see this?
The wording doesn't come across.
And look at the top of the right-hand column. Whereas extending the $5 per month membership was what they're asking. This is an existing framework, correct me if I'm wrong, that is available for NYCHA and NYCHA residents. Citibike right now is a couple $100 a year to be a member. But if you live in public housing, you can qualify for a $5 a month membership. They just wanted to add to that framework eligible people. And they said, look, if you're enrolled in a CUNY or if you read this, it's broader, a 16 and above in a public high school, we want to be able to enroll you for $5 a month in this membership. So yeah, it's a little bit of a discount, but the other thing is it's not coming from the city, it's coming from Lyft, private company that runs Citibike, which is subject to governance by the state. One second, Ms. Nottingham, did you have your hand? Ms. Young, then Ms. Morano.
The one thing that I think is missing is the part about safety. Now, we're talking about 18-year young people who may never have been behind the wheel of a car, who may not know the rules of the road. And it seems to me that we might want to consider putting something in here, because we talk a lot about safety, but how do we make sure that these young people know the rules of the road to help with the goal of maintaining the safety for them, for everybody? And I know this is really about offering the discount, but that's not my issue. My issue is that we might be losing out on an opportunity to suggest that there be some training in terms of the rules of the road.
Thank you. Ms. Young, Mr. Morano, and Ms. Walcott.
So I wasn't here in October and had asked to be part of the group that did work on this, but I assume I was overlooked. But
Possibly overlooked colleges.
no problem. But I would love to hear from the folks who did work on it, to get a better understanding of what their process was as they went through this, and just how that collaboration happened to get the resolution in the format.
We'll come back to that. Ms. Walcott?
I'd like to
jump onto what Deb was saying. Maybe, the city get in touch with Lyft, and when the students sign up for this first time, that they get a $5 discounted pass, that they have to look at a video infomercial or something that tells them what to look out for, should wear, helmets, knee pads, whatever.
Sure, Street safety, Mr. Roth, and then Mr. Meehan, and then you, sir.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, so in the committee, subcommittee meeting, we did discuss, the safety, potential safety precaution, and, the app does have videos and pictures and language, extensive language about safety measures that new riders can take, or just any rider can look at. The website as well has a lot of extensive information. I'm not sure how the logistics could work for, I guess it's possible they could have a central in-person training, but, that would be a lot more costly, and the app and website might be sufficient. In regards to helmets, I think that, that's, laws at a state or city level that's outside of the scope of, what Lyft can do, I think. I do know this, we did discuss that the city has some, I think it's called, Open Streets, that they provide free helmets at those events, often. I guess the only thing I can remember at the meeting was a debate about whether we should support the Citibike discount for 18 and above or 16 and above, and we compromise with 18 and above for community students.
Yeah, just to jump off of that and to answer Mr. Meehan's question more fully, and then I'll get to the other two, Mr. Meehan and you, sir. Sorry, Mr. Morano's question more fully. Yeah, we had a couple Zooms where we took this is a 2-page, right, in the very classic whereas, therefore, Community Board 8 generally doesn't. So we tried to strip out a lot of the sort of posturing language on the front end where the Citibike is an invaluable resource. We'll stipulate to all of that. And sort of got to the meat and potatoes of it, which is at the top of the right-hand column, right? What's the offer here? $5 per month memberships and to your point, Mr. Roth, we talked about the 16-year-olds and the CUNY students, and we settled on 18 and above. CUNY we can definitely support as a group. 16 gets into a couple fishy areas, to Ms. Young's point about road users. The point I think I made about, Citibike is only eligible if you're 18 and older. So signing a contract to become a member. The 16-year-olds cannot do that, even though my son somehow had a Citibike membership. I don't know. Strike that from the Instagram line. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. And we felt we wanted to just sort of focus on that paragraph. And then the rest of this is, again, just calling upon the powers that be to support this, the affordable student access to Citibike. So most of it was wordsmith, really, to get to the nub of the matter. And the only really discretionary choice I think we made, and Mr. Ortiz Joyner and Ms. State Hall were on it, and Mr. Roth was on it, Mr. Ross was on it. No, Mr. Roth was on it. Chime in if you feel there was anything I missed. Great. So, Mr. Meehan, and then you, sir.
So, some of you might have forgotten, because I've been in high school and college more recently than a lot of you, but there are a lot of 18-year-olds who are still in high school, and there are a lot of 17-year-olds who are already in college. Did you think about just having a plain 18 cutoff, but still including high school students? Because that seems like it would be more fair, either to pick the arbitrary cutoff of just the CUNY students, or the arbitrary cutoff of just the 18-year-olds, which I understand has maybe more of a legal bearing. Because, I didn't turn 18 until after I graduated from high school, but, most of my year, already was 18 by, say, December or January of their senior year.
Yep, good point. Ms. Ortiz, and then you, just because you're going to answer that, right?
Yeah, I may not have graduated high school and college as recently like you have, but going to school in Brooklyn and Manhattan, we had train passes and bus passes to high school, which is free. Why would the high schoolers pay $60 a year when they have a free pass where they study in the summer and weekends as well?
My understanding is that CUNY students also have Omni cards now.
Yeah, there was talk about, do we need to make it duplicative? And, this is just another tool in your commuting arsenal, right? And so we didn't really settle that question. But that's an interesting suggestion. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Citibank or Lyft, what if a biker hits a baby or a pedestrian or a senior? Who's responsible for that? Is it Citibank? Is it Lyft?
Oh, I'm sure if you're the attorney for the injured party, you're suing everybody. But the cyclist is the first and primary responsible.
But the cyclist is with Citibank, right? Or Lyft?
Cyclist is you or me.
Oh. So it doesn't matter, you're saying. I'm just trying to get some understanding about that.
I mean, CityBike is not limited to Citibank employees, right? I mean, anybody can have a CityBike membership. Is that what you're?
No, I guess the most, what's important for me is that, people become responsible.
Yeah.
And if you're using a product like Citibank, they should be responsible as well, I think.
You mean City Bike?
So, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep saying Citibank. I'm sorry. I got it. I'm sorry. I mean Citibike. And whoever is supporting Citibike should be held responsible for that. That's just my thoughts. Because I've seen bikers. One nearly hit me. I've seen bikers. Get to pull a child away.
Yeah.
So I want to know who's going to be responsible for when the child.
I think almost what I see next, because that goes back to Ms. Young's point about education and knowing the rules of the road too.
But then it comes down to, who's going to make the payment for this child being in the hospital.
So I love how this gentleman's thinking, and I think we should, as a community, hold Ford and Chrysler and GM. Hold on, let me finish. Also accountable for the road carnage that occurs. I think it's a great idea. Just like hold on, I think I have the floor. Just like we hold tobacco companies accountable for the lung cancer, I think also let's add in Shell and Exxon. I think these are great ideas.
I'm not trying to go that.
I would like a motion.
I'm not trying to go that deep.
How about Smith and Wesson?
I'm not trying to.
But the Supreme Court, I think, canceled that and said no lawsuits against gun manufacturers, right?
Listen, I'm not trying to go that deep. I'm a black man. I could hold Citibank accountable. I could hold Chase accountable. I could hold Bank of America accountable for different things that I know of. So I'm not trying to go that far, my friend. I'm just trying to get a resolution. That's all. I think all black Americans know that.
Good points on both sides of that. Can I just get your name, sir, for the record?
Anthony.
Thank you. Any other, Ms. Young, I saw you, and then Mr. Inequity.
Okay, I want to come back to the safety issue, and I think there is a mechanism for it to be done. Just like the drivers do the driver safety. You can have, even if it's 15, 20 minutes, that before they get their $5, that they have to prove that they at least took a course. They can take it online, so they don't. It's not like they have to physically go someplace. It's just that I can't get past us always talking about safety stuff, and we have an opportunity to make a recommendation that is safety driven. And I feel very strongly about us making that a part of our resolution, to make it as a recommendation.
Thank you, Ms. Young, Mr. Inequity, then Mr. Morano, and then I'm gonna take the floor again. Mr. Inequity.
Anthony, in regards to Anthony's comment, right? I just want to add for clarity. You can't really hold the manufacturer liable for something, a bike maker, unless it has something to do with the default of the bike. As is same with automobiles, right? If the automobile is not does not default in its operation, to be the cause of the negligence, you can't hold them liable because someone was driving a Ford, all right? So, to the most we can do, right, is to insist and require that people take safety courses, right? And as Mr. Witherwax was saying, the first cause of a lawsuit is to the person who caused the negligence. All right, just to add a little clarity.
I mean, I have seen on Vanderbilt and Prospect Place